Well, hello, boys and girls.
Hi.
What a wonderful day it is today in our money-based economy. Well, sit back and relax and get ready for the guy who's about to ruin everything.
I'm puzzled. Are you really seriously suggesting that Jesus Christ was a mushroom?
Wait,
Yeah, old man.
Jesus was a mushroom, Roberts.
Yes. You are dealing with a secret cult, the secret society.
Welcome to Waning Interest.
Welcome to the Waning Interest Podcast. Unlocked Wednesday. Hour number 38. The smallest click on the internet. Today, Wednesday joke. Maybe more than one. Just for you. And the radio story, the Wednesday radio story. Digging through the vaults. And a bunch of other stuff that I will proceed to take from a bullet point and turn it into this big, beautiful turd. I've already done it. 1:15 in and bam, you already got yourself a pile. That was Joe Cruz on the open, and you hear him on the front and the back of the promos. The email, waninginterestpodcast@gmail.com. I'm very proud of you for cleaning up the emails. And when I say that, obviously, I mean trimming. I mean, for a while there, I was like, am I in a time warp? It seems like all these pictures are from 1978. Sometimes it's like, bleh, and sometimes it just depends on the person. You know, there are some that just make you want to give them a weed whacker for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. I should have said, fuck, that would have been better. You're right, I know. But then there's some that it doesn't matter, you know? Those outliers that doesn't matter what they fucking do, they make your privates tingle. Or how they look. I swear I saw a woman, she kept ending, I am more than innocent. And that's a fact, that's no sarcasm. Everything else is, got a hint of, but I don't do that shit. The last thing I want to feel, I want to make anybody feel is skeevy. So I don't follow people around. I don't do that shit. I keep my eye out. But I kept ending up in the same aisle. And she was, I swear to God, it was like Kate Beckinsale with no makeup on. It wasn't her. Maybe it was. I don't know. But, wow. And seemingly invisible. Alone. No makeup. So, of course, you have to wonder. Let's see, she looks that nice with just like gym clothes on. And I would expect sharper sneakers, but those aren't bad. And no makeup. And you got to wonder about the bush. If you're not, you ain't human, man. So, I just know now that I am not a robot. Ha! That is the moral of the story. You might be listening from me, Apple time. Fuck, man, I was trying to do that non sequitur, just jump, bang, bang, so you never know what's coming, and that's part of me if you're new to the podcast, and fucking blew it. I know, that's what I'm complaining and pissing and moaning about. So, take two. Yes. Gee, I'm waiting for you to say it. Take three. Okay. You're probably listening, found us from Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, Google Play, Laughable, and Spotify. Always the Wednesday and the bonus hours. That's where you'll find them. But the main thing about it all is you becoming part of the Waning Interest Podcast pack. Don't you want to be a whip? Don't you? Don't you? We're almost 5 minutes in, and I know you ain't leaving. So come on. As little as $2 a month, $24 a year. You can't even call me a whore for that. That's too cheap to be a whore. That's slut material. And that is good for you. Whores don't care about their sexual health. Sluts, on the other hand, they keep it cool. You can trust them more. They're more honest. Whores, money's involved. There are lies involved. Sluts, all honesty, integrity is right there. You can't even slice it with a ginsu. It's that strong. Right? Right. What the hell was I talking about? Patreon. So become part of the Waning Interest Podcast Pack. Patreon, where you can get the Monday and the Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do 3 hours a week. Patreon, Monday and Friday. And then we got this Wednesday, and then sometimes there's a bonus hour or half hour whenever I fucking feel like it, you know? 6 minutes in, I've proven that I can make those decisions. So what if they're always wrong? Anyway, Twitter, Instagram, Waning. God, you suck. Take 2. Twitter, Instagram, Wayne Roberts 811. Instagram's real fun today, isn't it? Can't see a fucking thing. Why bother posting? It's a nice vacation. I wish this would happen more often. Same thing with Facebook. Of course, they're connected, so that's why, but it's kind of neat. I'm enjoying it. Everybody's flipping out. Like, oh, I can't see anything. Oh. That means you have to listen to me. Right? Right. Did I tell you as little as $2 a month? And you're part of the People's Power? It's all about the People's Power. It's the PP. People's Power on the Waning Interest Podcast. Waning Interest Podcast Pack. Hashtag. Waning Interest Podcast hashtag. The Whips. Hashtag. Lowercase the. Uppercase WIPP. Lowercase s. I love having to explain that. So there you have it. If you're new, which you could be, because of course you're grabbing it from one of those spots that, one of those places that put ads up. Not all, but some. And I get nothing. So that's another reason why you should go to Patreon. And a little extra me. Woo! I have a question at the moment, though, before we get started. Let's give a big round of applause for the bus boys. Why isn't the 21 trillion, low estimate, by the way, there's probably many more trillions. There is definitely many more trillions. Why isn't the quote-unquote 21 trillion, low estimate, Pentagon story not the biggest story on the planet of the century so far, 19 years in? Because they were doing it before 9/11. I mean, right the day before 9/11, Rumsfeld talked about missing trillions. And it seems like, when you smoke, when you use cannabis like I do, you can get paranoid when you're talking about this into a microphone and all you're hearing is a fucking helicopter above you. It's probably, it's either for no reason at all, just to eat a bunch of taxpayer money, or maybe they're filming something over at CBS. Radford. I don't know, but motherfucker, am I tired of that fucking helicopter. Makes me, I've said it before, it makes me feel like Kyle Reese and fucking Terminator when they fly, just constant, just there. We are kind of in a war zone either way. What am I saying? I don't know. Me either. 21 trillion. So my purpose is, in asking that, is to ask yourself why it's not the biggest story. Do you know how much fucking $1 trillion is? Just $1 trillion? We're talking 21 plus in the last 20 years. Less than 20 years. Ask yourself that, and then ask your friends. Talk to your friends about it. What the fuck? And really question it if somebody goes, yeah, whatever. How would you say, why 21 trillion, then why does that same person not say whatever when they hear that somebody stole $3,500? Throw him in jail. Whoa. That guy doesn't run our lives, isn't part of the people that run our lives. And the system that we live in. The people that steal the 21 trillion are. But that's okay. Something's backwards. It's one of the parts. One of the reasons why underneath people don't get the more depth of Stranger Things being hit upside down. And why psychedelics make you go, oh, things make sense now. Because when things make sense more to you, that's one of the things that help depression go down, and all the other beautiful attributes that come with the natural psychedelics of the planet. Mm-hmm. That's what we mean about here. Oh, by the way, the Saturday bonus where I talked about a bunch of baseball and my stepson, I couldn't think of the pitcher's name. The lefty that we had, the lefty reliever that the Marlins had that year that did so much, whether it was on the mound or at the plate, Dennis Cook. Dennis Cook. I remembered and had to come back to it. If I did that for everything that I forgot on this fucking podcast, that's all this podcast would be. And another thing from last month. And another thing. Dennis Cook. There was one game me and my buddy Joe went to, my best man at my wedding. We went to a lot of games. That season especially. And we sat out in the outfield. We were in right at the little diner thing, the little tables they had out there. Drinking lots of beer beforehand and lots at the game. And then, of course, they cut it off, 7th inning stretch. Game goes to fucking 14 innings. We left sober for sure. But who delivered the game-winning hit? A pitcher. A lefty. Clutch motherfucker named Dennis Cook. Now, what's going to be hilarious is if after I get done, where I'm actually going to, I mean, the name just popped in, but if I'm going to actually look it up after I'm done recording, just for the fun of it, and go, oh my God, I didn't even get his name right. No, I can't do that. That would be really fucking stupid. Because then I'd have to go back again. And another thing from the last podcast. Dennis Cook, pitcher. Yeah, I have it right. Of course I have it right. Why would I not have it right? You always have it right, right? Dennis Brian Cook is an American former... Take two. Dennis Brian Cook is an American former professional baseball pitcher who played in Major League Baseball with the San Francisco Giants, Philadelphia Phillies, Los Angeles Dodgers, Cleveland Indians, Chicago White Sox, Texas Rangers, Florida Marlins, New York Mets, and Anaheim Angels. So when you look up the definition of journeyman, there's Dennis's picture. He's 56 years old. He's a Texan. No wonder he's a gamer. Anyway, just a little flashback, quick update from an hour gone past. Because you got to make corrections, right? Got to treat this like a... Jesus H. fucking Christ. Mushroom. What does the mushroom... What's the H stand for real? I never really thought about that one. If Jesus was a mushroom and it's Jesus, holy Christ, there has to be some kind of mushroom connotation besides it being the Trinity and the sacred... What is it? Holy, maybe it's... I don't know. Boy, somebody asked me, so I picture you recording your podcast, in the middle of the night, ranting, in the middle of the night, a little stoned, a bit high. And I go, you're partly right. Sometimes I record during the day. And this is one of those hours that's living proof with all the fucking planes and the other shit you might hear behind me. But I'm going to plow through. You know why? Because I'm a non-professional. Another thing I was reminded of, I was going through my, when you could see things on, back when you could see things on Instagram, which was, in the distant past. I was looking through my sister. I was looking through, how many times are we going to do take 2, fuckhead? I don't know. We have 45 minutes left. And I'm not a betting guy, so I'm not putting a number on it, okay? I was looking through my daughter's prom stuff, pictures. And I started thinking about my proms, of course, because, you start turning it around on yourself because you're a selfish piece of turd. So I'm thinking about that. I'm like, oh my God, my senior prom. Holy shit. If there is not one of the best examples of my character as a man or a teenage boy, it's that night right there. See, we see all these movies where kids go back and the memory of their senior prom was devilish and horrible because of too many drugs or some asshole or whatever, and something nasty happened. Then it comes back in the future to bite them in the ass. No such thing around here, man, because, kind of because I'm a wimp. And like I said, the last thing, I've always felt like a fucking wart. So when it comes to making a first move, that kind of shit, I've never been good at it because I don't want to feel more like a wart. Feeling contagious and crusty enough, you don't need to add to it. I get enough rejection in other ways. So I can't take it from women anymore. I'm almost 50. I can't take anything. Jesus Christ, I'm a pussy. Whatever. So, what was I saying? Oh, character. Obviously, I'm proving that in the fucking most beautiful way. Correct. So I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent and the assholes. And then I'm going to read something to you that was written to me after I had initially been thinking about this the other day. You'll get it at the end, I promise. I swear, stick with me. There's only 42 minutes left. But this won't take that much longer. I'm only going to use, 39. So, my senior prom, I had so much. My junior prom, I freaked out so much in asking the girl that I asked. I freaked out so fucking much beforehand. And then was so confused afterwards. Didn't know what was going on. It was very confusing. I don't fully blame her, but she was a redhead. Anyway, how about those Red Sox? So, that one confused me a lot. And my senior year, like I've said before, I was in high school. I planned on going to college right out of high school. So I took all the college stuff all the way up until my senior year. And then when we were going through, I'd gone to a bunch of college parties, and I knew what I was going to spend my time doing if I went to college. And that would be wasting a lot of money, not just on the booze and the weed and the mushrooms, because I didn't know they were sacred yet. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I know what I mean. That's all that matters. So as we were picking classes, when you pick your classes for your senior year, I dropped all that shit. I went from the algebra shit to back to business math, adding and subtracting, because I did not want to spend any of my senior year having to think really hard unless it was reading something really cool. Like I stayed with the college English class and all that stuff because I dug reading. I was a bit of a voracious reader, in and out. I'd go through periods where I was like, fuck, I don't want to read anymore. Because then after I would read, I'd turn into a pain in the ass because all I would just want to tell everybody about what I was reading because it was so good. And they're like, yeah, shut up. Because I didn't grow up around a lot of readers. So, one of the ways I felt like a wart. So then I would go periods like, fuck it, I won't read anymore. Let's drink. See, can you tell? That's what I have to put up with when I'm trying to do a voiceover. That pain in the ass asshole. Her door is wide open. Is my door open? No. I'm not. I'm the broadcaster, but am I actually broadcasting? No. That fucking egomaniac twat is. Racist, too. She's also a racist fuck. Anyway, let's keep plowing. I forgot where the fuck I was. So the other part of my senior year was thinking, I am not going to go through that either. I'm going to try to let girls not stress me out as much. So fuck all that shit. So when it came to the senior prom, wasn't going to let that stress happen again. And I lucked out to where a girl that I'd had a crush on since the first time I laid eyes on her, and we were friends. Maybe that's her coming in for a landing. Super cool, super adorable, still is to this day. And it just so happened I had overheard, I can't remember, but I think I overheard her saying something about nobody had asked her to prom yet, and I thought she was kidding. And I went, well, looks like you're going with me. Bam! And then I'm thinking, wait, this is a joke. This is actually going to happen. This is a joke. Somebody's playing a fucking joke on me. No. But I took it I treated it the whole thing with, I'm going with somebody that is uber fucking cool. But I ain't doing anything. I'm not doing anything move-wise, even though I've had a crush on her forever. I'm keeping it friend zone because the last person I want to think that I'm skeevy or anything like that is her. I mean, there's a bunch of last people, but she was on that list at that time at 17 years old, and 16, and 15, and 14, however long I knew her. So I'm not doing nothing, but I am going to get drunk. And I had a Datsun B210 at the time that my stepbrother and I had painted. It was mainly I bought it, it was like a shitty brown. And we painted it, it was gray and black. I was going to put a red stripe on it. I think I might have at some point finally, but at this point I don't think it was. I think it was still as a gray primer and and some of the black. It looked a lot better, gotta say that. And goddamn, that car the engine, you didn't have to worry about it. And if I got stuck in the snow, I just needed one friend to get on the back, and the car seemed so light. You had two guys just go whoop and just set it aside. Boom, you're out of the snow. It was nice. It happened a lot. So, I was looking at my daughter's stuff, and then I was thinking about my prom, and I'm like, oh my God, I really, really, really hope that her senior prom was as innocent as mine. You know, who knows? I'll find out for real at some point. You know, I wasn't all that honest with it could be with my senior prom, but other things maybe not. But with my senior prom, I was all honest with everybody because there was nothing to hide. Because it was fun. But at one point, there was me and my date and another girl and her date and another couple. I think it was three of us. So 3 people in the back is all we could fit. Because the back seat was so small that you couldn't throw that 4th person on a lap. It'd still be in the front fucking seat. Even though we should have thrown her back there. I think that was... I'm not saying her name. We'll go with Sally. We should have thrown her in the back. So my date, who She doesn't care if I say her name, but just for the fun of it, and we already talked about Kate Beckinsale, I'm going to call her Kate. We'll say Kate Littlefield. So Kate should have had the passenger seat all to herself while I was driving my uber cool Datsun B210. They should bring that motherfucker back. Hell, if I know, they'd probably still make it and call it something else, and obviously it would look a lot different than that 1981 piece of shit, but it was a great fucking car, man. Except for the rust. Yeah. So Kate should have had the passenger seat all to herself, but because Sally didn't want to sit anywhere near her date, if I remember correctly. Probably not, but it's a lot more fun for the story. We were drunk. I wasn't hammered. I would have been considered drunk in the blood thing, but I wasn't drunk. I know and I'm not saying it's okay to do what I did. We were 17 years old, but I wasn't drunk to where it was a danger thing at all. The only danger part was Kate having to sit in the middle on the front with my forearm resting basically, I tried not to, but sometimes it had to rest on her inner thigh. Because that's where the stick shift was, right between her, as she put it, cooter. Yeah. We'll get back to that. But yeah, I'm driving all over hell. We went from a couple parties. Went from this party to that party, from prom to the parties, different parties. And yeah, whole time, think. I got to have my hand right there. And to me, that was enough. Because part of me was like, you don't deserve having Kate as your prom date, your senior year of high school. You don't deserve this, homeboy. So, because of that, you were going to keep it cool anyway, because that's how you are. But you give her extra special care, even if it's like delivered to you on a plate. You say, I'm not sure. I hear the cheers. I hear all the females cheering for me right now, and some of the guys. I hear it. I don't hear it. That's a lie. I fucking feel it. So all night doing that, and remember, I'm buzzed. I have no shame in admitting that. Buzzed, not drunk, not hammered, buzzed. So I could have slipped if I wanted. Didn't fucking do it, homeboy. And I remember feeling like everybody else seeming like, dude, any moment, we're all waiting. You gonna do something? No. I'm waiting for her. Just because her legs are spread for my entire hand and arm to... Just because, that doesn't mean I should be Shazam. Next time I get on a subway, if I don't see Diamond Hansu within 5 fucking minutes in that silly wig and then turning me into Zachary Levi, well, then after that, I'm not riding the fucking subway ever again. Fuck them. Because that's exactly what should have happened a long time ago. Right? And remember, there's a Wayne in Maine. Where all this happened, that's not where it happened, but in the state that it happened, there is a Wayne, Maine. There's no Jeff, Maine. There's no Chris, Maine. There's no Kate, Maine, although there should be. Come to think of it, there should be a Sarah, Maine as well. There probably is, but fuck. But there is a Wayne, Maine. I'll take that as the gift. See, it's not that hard to please me. Even though, yeah, there was a Wayne, Maine before I was there. But anyway, I'll take it. But we had a great time. Didn't even try to kiss her. I had Minutes and minutes and minutes between her legs. Didn't do a fucking thing. Didn't even try to kiss her. Treated her like a friend, like a person. Not like a... I'm going to keep my fucking thoughts to myself on that one. But they were good. I'll promise that. They were good. They were genuine, full of integrity. And, yeah, it's a good image. But whatever, let's move on. What I'm trying to say again, I'm just hoping in reality, in the future, that I hear from my daughter that her senior prom was just as innocent. That's all I'm trying to say in this last however long that I've dragged this out. I didn't mean to drag it out, but motherfuck has it been entertaining. Bazing, bazang, buzza. I tell you there's a Wayne, Maine? That's all I want to know. Sooner than later, if you're listening, sweetie, I listen to your podcast. You better be listening to mine. Speaking of which, I listened to, a buddy of mine told me to listen to this podcast called Stuff to Blow Your Mind. And there was a certain one, stuff about psychedelics, the manifested mind, part 1. I gotta say, kind of boring. And one dude sounds like David Frick from Rolling Stone. You know, the guy that looks like, he's got the, almost like a bowl haircut with the glasses. Almost looks like Stephen King's taller brother, younger brother. He does a lot of interviews, so I know how he talks, his cadence and everything. But one of the guys sound like... These guys were great. They were very good, actually. I listened to the whole fucking thing. It was hard to get through all the way to the 1 hour 16. I keep it tight, bitches, and way more entertaining. But it was very cool, very informative. There was a few things that was like, what? I hate the some of the bashing of Leary. It doesn't make sense. It reminds me of a right-wing talking point. But it's very informative, and if that's your kind of thing, if you want information for an hour and 15 minutes with like 2 laughs, go for it, baby. If you want it with a whole bunch of laughs and a lot of fucking heart and a lot of integrity, because, you know, it's only $2 a month around here to be on the Patreon. Right here. So as most of you know, most of you whips, you understand, I talk a lot about radio, and especially my years at WIOD, my first 3 years of radio from 94 to 97, which were just unbelievably packed with cool shit, cutting my teeth with Phil Hendry, Neil Rogers, Rick and Suds, Jim Mandich, Kim Bokemper, a bunch of others that I can barely remember. Yeah, I can, but I just don't want to say. And with Suds Coleman, and this was in Miami, by the way. And Suds from the Rick and Suds show passed away a couple of weeks ago, so I've gone back and when I've had time, and I'm like, what do I want to listen to right now? I don't watch TV unless it's a sporting event, usually on the weekend. My TV is almost never on during the week. And I just had this thing where the last couple of weeks just wanted to find old Neil shows and old Rick and Suds shows and listen to them and just for the memories. And I was listening to one last night from April of 97. 97 was a big year. And Rick mentions, because Rick, this was in Miami, but Rick is originally from California. Rick Riley from the Rick and Suds show. I don't know what he's doing now, what he's been doing, something with money and Wall Street type shit or numbers and whatever the fuck, trading, whatever. Who cares? But he used to live out here, and he mentions to somebody on one of the callers about Ojai and the hot springs. And I went, simulation. I tripped there once. Naked. I was naked in the hot springs on Mr. Mushy. A lot of great silhouettes. The sky looked like a giant amusement park. It was so dark in those woods. That water was so warm. And I felt so sexy being naked, of course. Anyway. And what's cool was the two people I was tripping with, one was a bit older than me, but he had some physical problems that made him walk like my friend Mike Bohan, who has since passed. My buddy Mike, who was blind, who trained me to be a talk radio board op in 1994. One of the people who trained me when I first started working at WIOD. Motherfucker was blind. So, of course, being blind, you have a certain walk to you. Well, this guy wasn't blind, but because of some injuries, he still had that walk like Mike. And the other dude was younger than me and seemed like a younger version of me, but a lot smarter. Like me at the same age, but his brain was way more, because he'd been tripping longer, sooner. And this was just my getting, really understanding the mushroom thing a bunch of years ago. So I felt like I was tripping with a version of myself and a version with my buddy who has been dead a couple of years at that point. So that added to the trip to make it really wow and connected sort of stuff. And to be in Ojai, which is sacred ground, that's where the Krishnamurti Foundation is. I mean, it's considered some sacred ground, and I think it had, as weird as it sounds, as the way I normally talk about shit, but that did have a lasting effect, I do believe. Even though it wasn't a big trip, it wasn't a 5-gram heroic dose. It was just an 1/8. But it was that first one where I was tripping with somebody that was really serious and people that knew what they were doing. So it had that added more to the connection. Very, very important moment in my life, and I'm sharing it with you. Let's move on. But the other part, I'm listening to it's 1997, and Rick's talking about gateway computers, CompuLink, Cybergate, Netgate. It was fucking hilarious. And I'm going, oh my God. And I remember being back then and giving out his email, rickr@ blah, 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 dot, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, remember the emails in the mid-90s, the late 90s? It was just so trippy. I love that fucking time warp that we have. I love that we can do that, because I know, so much of this stuff, I was either sleeping while I was listening, because I'd just gotten home from, because they were on in the mornings, and a lot of times we said hello and goodbye right there, and because I worked the overnights and they started at 6 a.m., so I would get home and I'd have the radio on and I'd fall asleep listening to the show. So I heard almost every hour of Rick and Suds, it seemed like, from late 94 until they were gone in 97. So going back, it's just so wild, and I was right the whole time. Rick's kind of a douche. But anyway, so one of the phone calls, the wine lady, it was this lady who sold wine, who was a big fan of Rick and Suds and a big fan of WIOD, and she had some things to do with some promotions with us. And she starts talking about hemp beer. This is 1997. That's how cool the wine lady was. I don't know how that turned out. Maybe she turned out to be a total scumbag. I don't know. I wasn't that involved because I wasn't a wine person at the time. But I thought that was pretty badass. And I was like, that's right. She had that hemp beer. And I just kind of, 97. See? I give credit when credit is due. A lot of people think, oh, Wayne, you think you're the first person to ever talk about hemp? Never, ever have insinuated or said it. You're a douche. Thank you. Moving on again. 2. It was just so much fun. And listening to Suds talking about web TV. And I was like, oh, that's right. Suds was a big web TV guy. And like, who do I know? Who do I remember from back then? All the people that I knew in South Florida in the mid to late 90s. Who? All those people that I knew that had web TV. Nobody but Suds. Not one fucking person. It was like Suds was the sole promotional tool of web TV. Didn't hear anybody talking about it except for Suds. That man was loyal. And my radio father, if I haven't mentioned that before. I've told that before, but some of you are new. Suds and I look nothing alike. He's a foot shorter than me. No kids at all. But we started this thing on the air that secretly, jokingly, but everybody knew it was a joke, that he was my dad. And then we took it further on a sales guy. And salespeople, there's a reason they get picked on. Suds and I had him convinced that we were related, and Suds really was my dad. And he actually looked at us and then went, now I see the resemblance. And that's why we continued to pick on that man. Because he fucking deserved it. Because sales, money, ruined radio, he was mainly responsible. You fucking weasel idiot. I hope you're doing well, seriously. I've just got to tell you what you really are. Labels are labels. It doesn't matter. I'm a wanker, joker, jerk-off douchebag. But with a lot of fucking heart, so I don't care what you call me. The heart cannot be argued. So, heh. How's that for a bottle challenge, motherfucker? All right, so on Wednesdays, I pull one off right in front of you, and then I pull out some of my old jokes from the early days. I've been doing stand-up. Well, I started just over 5 years ago. There was a year break in there because of a busted foot. So if you want to call it 4, I don't give a shit. Don't give a flying fuck. Because most of this stuff comes from the early part. It doesn't matter whether or not I was getting on stage with a busted foot or not. This is from the early parts, the shit that I wrote for first open mics, and haven't got to the first actual show, I don't think. I don't think I've gotten moved up to that part of the date. Well, one of the jokes I told was actually fairly recent. It was after that because I just wanted to. But this stuff, the actual date where I sent these to, I'm giving you a bonus. I sent these to myself on June 2nd, 2014. So remember, going to do this, I didn't spend a lot of time in comedy clubs, so I didn't know some of this stuff was... Oh, stop defending your shit, your garbage, your trash. Okay. I know what some of you are saying to yourselves. I think I bought cocaine from that guy once. Or twice. You're welcome. Others are thinking, what's with the late 70s hairdo? I'm a huge Three's Company fan. And apparently the second coming of Jesus on Hollywood Boulevard taking money from silly tourists. And that's joke 1. On Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019, the Wednesday joke on the Waning Interest Podcast. That's joke number 1. You are welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I could hear the applause. I could hear it. I could feel it. I could smell it. You know why I can smell it? Psychedelics. All right, I'll give you a second one. This was about being single. And I said, I'm just biding my time until Kate Beckinsale gets divorced. Or until my daughter's babysitter comes of age. Just trying to do the right thing. And that's joke number 2 on July 3rd, 2019 on the Waning Interest Podcast for the Wednesday joke on Unlocked Wednesdays. That was a double shot. Double shot of shit jokes from somebody going, I want to go get on stage in front of a bunch of people and try to make them laugh and do it like this to start with until I get comfortable. I was a little more lively than that, thanks to a little bit of theater and being an actor. So, I'm obviously bullshitting my way through all of this, right? Right, thank you. Okay, don't look. But those are, you do that, and that's one of the things that would make me, I'd go to a bunch of open mics, and then I'd actually go to a couple of shows to watch people that either have been doing it a long, long time or at least a few years and go, ooh, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm writing hacky, twatty, stupid shit. Yeah, that's right. There is a lot of stuff that's going on in a comedy club where they're going a lot farther with thinking because they're so much trying to make funny that you, as an outlier, as a stand over here, you don't know what's going on, and you're thinking, oh, yeah, this is going to be funny right now. That was funny to them 2 years ago. You're behind. So that's one of the reasons why you got to go, you got to hang, you got to watch, because you're like, oh, my God, I would have written a bunch of hacky fucking shit, like what I just gave you. That's the fun of it, at least here. I'm still slightly hacky, but almost slightly on purpose, because I just have this little thing. It helps to keep me from taking myself too seriously. I don't want to take myself seriously. That's why the goofiness part of me helps, because a lot of people assume that I get up there and I'm going to be like Bill Hicks type, which I was at a certain point, and I started to realize that doesn't work. To be preacher-like and almost like I'm smarter than you, and I didn't realize I was coming across as much as I was like that. That's why you listen back. But what I'd found was I got to have the goofiness. I got to have some kind of goofiness. That always helps. That always works. That always keeps them in my hand, in my pocket, where they can smell my junk and go, oh, you shower and scrub, and I do like the soap you use. Obviously, it's not too chemically. And your skin. I hear it all the time, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying. Facts are facts. Should we move on? I think so. Good. So, yeah, that's one of the things if you're going to do it. And I tell anyone to please go try it. It's good either way. Even if you don't end up doing it, it's just something good to do. To go to an open mic and just know what it feels like, and who knows? You might have been born to do it. Like Tracy Hogan. Have you done it yet, lady? Jesus. Fucking chicken shit. I thought she'd do it before me. That's an inside joke. A friend of mine a long time ago. I've been telling her since 1999, and I don't think she's done it yet. And if there's anybody that has not had a microphone in their hand in a comedy club, talking to people, trying to make them laugh, if there's anyone that hasn't done it that should, it's that woman. Still saying it to this day. Get off your ass, lady. Go make people laugh. Because then they'll make you laugh, and then you'll laugh, and you have a great laugh, bitch. She'd be laughing at that. I promise you. It's like a sister-brother thing. We bust each other's balls. Smart ass. That's just for me and her. I know she's listening. That's the point. So this is just for you. That's a little bonus for you. Should we move on to the Wednesday radio story? I think so. I think we should. I think so because it's only 10 minutes left. And you tend to be long-winded, motherfucker. But it's a good long wind. And it doesn't stink, right? Right. So the Wednesday radio story, I was already talking about Rick and Suds. Well, a little Rick and Suds bonus. Ba-da! Anybody that knows the Rick and Suds show knows that was for fanfare. Rick would have hit a fanfare sound effect / drop, little horns. Whatever, Wayne. Jesus, fuck, stop over-explaining. Okay. Wait, I got that backwards. Yeah, me too. What? Wait, split it. Oh, right? Oh, okay. That? Yes. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Wednesday radio story. Rick and Suds used to do, on Thursdays, they had this, one of the bits they did was Payphone Challenge. And they'd been doing it since their, I don't know how earlier, I don't remember how earlier, but before Adam was their producer, they did it with this guy, their producer before Adam, his name was Marvin. Fuck, Marvin was funny. Adam and Marvin leaving, and Adam getting the job was where a bunch of spots moved up for board operators, and that's how I got my gig. So it's all about Marvin anyway. It's all about Rick and Suds. Fuck Adam. I know he's listening. So Adam was Rick and Suds' producer, and Adam asked me after a time that I was there to be their associate producer and run the board while he was out doing Payphone Challenge. So what the deal was Adam would go somewhere in public where there was payphones. He would call me and give me the phone numbers. And then while he was on the air with the guys on the phone, he would tell me what to dial, what numbers to dial, because there were people around. And when people would pick it up, Rick and Suds would ask them if they wanted to do something for $120. They would have some kind of thing that they would have to do. And there were all these goofy things that people would have to do. Sometimes they would say no or just hang up the phone, which was fucking funny, of course. And a lot of people, there was a lot of Rick and Suds fans out there. And it wasn't hard to find, oh yeah, I listen again. I listen, I'm a fan, and yeah, I'm doing it. But So, this one challenge, I think it was at a bus station, right near a mall. And Adam was at this bus. There were inside phones and there were outside phones. And it just so happened at this point, and this was 1997, we were in the new Hollywood building. And Adam had been being a real prick. And I was getting rather tired of it. But I did my job. So at one point on the air, and he's like, Wayne, ring the ones on the outside. The phone's on the inside or the outside or whatever. And I was doing everything, and we weren't getting any hits. And he said something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And I went, you know what? Fuck this motherfucker. He said something a little busting balls, but it wasn't busting balls. It was a little too far. But nobody else would have really known it. It was just a little cunty thing, and Adam was known for that. And I went, fuck this guy. Wait, call the phones on the outside. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of people. The phone's on the outside. So, and I can hear him, and he's going to the outside. So he's a distance from the inside phones. I called the inside phones instead. But he could hear them. What are you doing? Oh, I go on the air. Oh, sorry, got the number mixed up. Whoop. All kinds of shit's going on because he's running back and forth, and then somebody actually answers the phone on the inside, but Adam's not there to see it, to describe it, so he's running back and forth, and then they hang up, so he runs in there for nothing, and then I start dialing the outside number, so he's running again, and what are you doing? I got him running back and fucking forth. Meanwhile, Rick and Suds, there's something that sometimes Rick would get a little pissy at because things weren't going right, so he'd get a little dickish. Well, this worked for Rick because Rick started losing. Rick thought it was funnier than Suds. Normally, Suds would be losing it because shit's just going haywire, but it's still fucking funny. And then because, it was a bus thing. Because Adam was having to go in between the buses, and that's what he kept saying. And then every time Rick and Suds would say something to him on the air because the buses were so loud, or it was so loud inside, he kept saying, hello? And it got to a point where every hello was just, it was a punchline. It became this running fucking punchline. And then at one point, Rick goes, you say that one more time, while he's laughing his ass off. You say that one more time, Adam. And then he goes, bonk, and he plays a fucking frying pan banging sound effect, which is hilarious. It was one of the spots where Rick didn't fuck things up, which he tended to do. Sorry, Rick, but you did. Stepping all over Suds. So, there's proof out there, but whatever. But I didn't mean to, but I turned this into a much bigger thing that had a lot more laughs because I was like, fuck you, Adam. You want to be a dick? I'm going to be a dick. I got control now, bitch. You tell me where you are, I'm going to dial the phone where you aren't. And I got to say, hell of a producer for a job well done, right? Right, take two? Yes. I got to say, hell of a job by me doing my producer job, making that show even more entertaining than it already was. Right? Yes. I got an agreement that time. And there was no sarcasm. Did you notice? You could play it back in here. Killed it. You say that one more time, Adam. And at one point, I'm laughing so fucking hard because of all that's going on, from Adam continuing to say hello, the people that are answering the phones hanging up or saying something funny, and then I almost missed a dump because I was hitting the dump button because I was laughing so fucking hard. And then Rick could tell I'm looking for the paper towels. I'm bawling. I am literally crying. It's so fucking funny. And Rick's tears laughing. And he could see me through the glass and he goes, Wayne's face looks like a water weenie. I mean, I swear, from his angle, it probably did look like one of those cartoons where you can just see it just fucking squirting out of my eyes. I was bawling. It was so great. It was, throwing a little shit, throwing a rock into the blender that made it so beautiful. And I will take the motherfucking credit. But I have to give everybody else credit too for laughing and helping to make it what it should have been, because it could have gone, what's happening? Getting all pissy, everything's going wrong, instead of making it funny, whatever it is, which is the point of entertainment. That's what I meant. Ooh, dad joke. Stop. Okay. Should have got a vasectomy. That's a joke. Dad joke, so I wouldn't have to do dad jokes. It's not saying, don't take that the wrong way, that I don't, okay? Okay, some people are really fucking stupid and would take that. See? Just going for the laugh. But then the payphone challenge actually was great too, because that lasted a whole nother fucking 2 or 3 segments, because this one, what the guy had to do, he had to go to the mall, which was across the street, with Adam following him. They're both on phones, and they're both on the line, and the guy had to go into the men's bathroom, and any dude that walked out of the bathroom without washing his hands, the guy had to go walk up behind him while he's on the phone and in the bullhorn and announce to the fucking mall, this man did not wash his hands. This man did not wash his hands. It was so good because the dude that they found, he was great. And it wasn't a plant. It wasn't some guy that's done it before and whatever. I mean, this cat was great. It was just perfect. It was like one of the best hours, and I believe a couple of those segments ended up on the Best of Rick and Suds 1997. If I do, motherfucking say so myself. At least one of them did. But then they got kicked out. Security came and kicked him out because people were complaining. He's telling me I didn't wash my hands. I'm just trying to buy a pair of Nikes. That's what you get for going to the mall, motherfucker. They tried to tell you in that Night of the Living Dead movie, Return of the Living Dead, whichever, the one in the mall. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Tom Savini, whatever. Adam. Hello? Hello? I can't hear. Rick Suds at one point. That's okay, man. Just stay right there between the buses. I think that was one of the lines that made me fall out of my fucking chair, and it wasn't long after that where Rick's going, Wayne's face looks like a water weenie. Fuck you, Adam. I win, you fucking little twat. You little dickhead. I love you. Can't help it, you prick. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Become a whip. Huh? That's a pretty good hour of riffage, if you ask me, or my mom. Watch Redacted tonight. Jimmy Dore Show, Kim Iverson, Kyle Kalinske, Abby Martin, Corbett Report. Look for yourself. I'm just here to be a fun, babbling lecture. Remember, Raul Neo, AK1. Sorry ran long. Had to bump comedian Ron Bennington. Thanks, Gary. Oh my God, Daddy loves you.